So next up we have this rifle, which is my NHM 91. These are not rifles that you see every day. Some of you may ask about that furniture. That's not the original furniture it came with. That is custom furniture that I made a long time ago, and I decided to slap it on this particular rifle because it's a really good looking rifle, I think. It's got an RPK length barrel, but essentially it is a Mac 90 with a long barrel. Another assault weapons ban era gun that is a Chi-Com gun. It's my only Chinese gun right now, or my only Chinese AK right now. But man, it's got a buttery smooth action from the factory. Desperately needs an adjustable gas piston. I will eventually get around to replacing it. But man, look at that bluing. Made by Norinco. Just beautiful finish. It's got a rusty ass RPK magazine in there. It's really a good looking rifle, and it has a fantastic trigger in it. It's a typical Chinese AK trigger, which is really, really good. Just amazing trigger. A little bit of take up at the beginning, but it's a really, really, really nice trigger. And that's pretty much it. It's got the Chinese rivet pattern. It's nothing crazy. Like I said, it's basically a long Mac 90, but Mac 90s are great rifles. But you don't see the RPK version of it all that often. And I didn't have a Chinese AK, so I picked this one up.
Okay.
So up next is my Yugo RPK. It's a little bit dirty, but it's the M72b, not the M72b1, because the M72b has a milled receiver, which you can see here. Again, Tort receiver. They make fantastic receivers, built by Jeff Covino, AZ Armory. It's got an OSS muzzle attachment there. Original wood and everything. It's got this humongous bipod on there. And this thing is a hoss. It weighs a ton. But it's one of those guns that actually, when you put a muzzle brake on it, it recoils downwards. So it actually drops. It's got an adjustable piston. A fantastic shooter. I shot this particular rifle at the AK Masters last year, which is an event in South Carolina. It's an AK match in South Carolina.
Come on.
And it's got an optic rail on there, so I just threw a little Vortex crossfire that I won somewhere. It's on a RS Regulate mount, and of course has the ALG trigger in there. Are you seeing some patterns? ALG triggers, or adjustable gas pistons. It's kind of the key to making your AK shoot really, really nice. Game changers in the AK world. Having really nice triggers that are just available off the shelf, and having the adjustable gas pistons so that you're not overgassing your rifles and you're not having crazy recoil. It's absolutely a game changer in the AK world, and especially if you shoot AKs. It makes what's already a pleasant and fun experience, makes it that much better. So I love this rifle. It's one of my favorite rifles. Why, I keep saying that. I love AKs, man. They're just awesome. They're so much fun to shoot. If you can get a kit built up like this by a professional, or even try to do it yourself if you know what you're doing, it's a dream. They're a dream to shoot.
Ready. Yeah.
Now the moment you've all been thinking about, you've all been waiting for, the AKS 74U, the Krinkov, in all its glory. Appropriately, it has a Circle 10 Bulgarian magazine in it. Custom furniture from Kalashnikov. It has a real Russian booster on there. But this is an SLR 104 UR that actually was imported with a shroud over the barrel. The barrel length was correct, and all I had to do was SBR it with this fancy little Mean Gene leather stock in there. All I had to do was SBR it and cut the little shroud off, which was pinned in place. And I had this. The guy I bought it from had put the right stock on there, which I'm not sure if Arsenal ever sold them with the triangle stocks. I can't remember. They may have, but this is a gun that I wanted. I mean, who doesn't want one? They're just iconic. They're so incredibly cool looking. They're the logo of a bunch of AK companies and stuff just because they look cool, man. They're just an absolute status symbol. There really were only, in my mind, there were only two countries that ever made the Krinkov in, you know, the real configuration like this, and that would be Bulgaria, of course, which this is the only factory Krinkov that came into the country in 545. There aren't any other ones. They didn't make a whole bunch. They made a decent amount, but they didn't make a bajillion of them, and they didn't sell that well when they came out. Ironically, just like this gun, the 104 FR. Arsenal imported them. You know, they probably made them in one big batch. And they imported them, and they just didn't move. Russia geeks and AK geeks like me were not, I guess, numerous enough at that point to really create a big demand for them in Bulgaria. Bulgaria doesn't like that caliber anyway, so they didn't make them again. And if you can get your hands on one, you're going to pay a premium for it. I got lucky with the FR. I got kind of lucky, but not as lucky with the UR, but I really wanted it. And it's a collector's item now, and it really is a special gun. It's super, super capable. They're more accurate than people give them credit for. Made hits out to 350 with them, with this particular rifle with iron sights.
Hit it. One of my favorite shots last year, we were working this stage.
So it's possible. It's not ideal for that, of course, but you can put it into a little knapsack. It folds away so small, and you know, you still have a rifle with you. Yes, you will blow your eardrums out if you ever try to use it in a self-defense situation, but God, it's like Jesus is coming through the window here, fighting the sunlight, sunbeams. But anyway, this is my Suchka, and really I don't think the Soviet Union made a lot of them. The other country, of course, is Russia that made them. And I don't think they made a bazillion of them either. They were kind of a more sought after item for the Mujahideen in Afghanistan because they were a lot less common. And that's why Osama bin Laden having one is a really big flex. And yeah, so that's my AKS-74U clone, I guess you could call it. It's not the rifle that I would grab if I could only grab one rifle, but it is definitely a huge flex and one of my favorites. AK-wise, it's the crown jewel of my collection. And man, it's cool. Look at that thing. Ooh boy, look at that. Look at that old thing there. Look at that thing. It's so small. Just a small little AK there. Ain't it? Ooh doggy. There's one AK in my collection that I forgot to mention, and that's this little guy right here. It's another kind of Krinkov-sized AK. It's the Kalashnikov USA KP9. And man, I love this little thing. I know there's a lot of controversy over Kalashnikov USA right now in 2023. Those of you who are in the AK world know about that, but I got this gun right when it came out. I think it was like 2018 or something like that. And it's kind of an impulse buy. Now it's an SBR, of course. But man, that was a good decision for my impulse buy. Of course, I should say that it's a clone of the Vityaz submachine gun that Russia uses. And I guess the Kalashnikov concern in Russia has the TDP for the Vityaz. So they started making it here. And I can say it looks exactly like a Vityaz. It's pretty much a one-for-one clone. And mine works fantastically. So I love this gun. This is one of my favorite pistol caliber guns that I have. You guys out there who poo-poo pistol caliber guns, they have a place. They really do. And this is incredibly cool. I put a little bit of Zenit furniture on there. It's got the regular triangle folding stock, ALG trigger, of course. It's got an EOTech in Russian stylings, and it's got a tri-lug at the end, of course, for your tri-lug equipped suppressors. Oh, and it's got the little extendo charging handle, and a Tango down grip. So kind of like kitted it out a little bit. I think it looks pretty cool, especially with that Zenit vertical grip. It looks really neat. It's a pretty viable PCC for those of you guys who compete in USPSA or Falling Steel or whatever, 3-gun, whatever you shoot PCC in. This is a legit PCC. They're not that expensive compared to some of the nicer AR PCCs, and they work really well. They work suppressed. They work with really, really low power ammo. I'll roll in some footage of me shooting this thing and maybe some footage of me shooting a match or something with it.
Much better.
Run, unload your magazine.
Not bad for a clip.
Stay high.
Good job. Go, baby, go. Reload, hurry!
But it is really nice to shoot in a competition setting. Dissident Arms is kind of the name of the game when it comes to competing with AK type guns. They're making some magazine extensions for these magazines. They're also building their own basically, and of course, you know, Dissident, if you guys know, it's expensive. Their shotguns are well known for being nice, but very expensive. They basically build up open shotguns for 3-gun. They also build these into competition PCCs, and I have to say that they, in a lot of ways, they're actually better than the AR PCCs that are out there, just because they work. And a lot of the AR PCCs do not work. Anybody who's been to a match knows that PCCs are not the most reliable firearms ever. I've seen MPXs go down, I've seen MP5s go down, I've seen hundreds of failures on 9mm ARs. It's a different animal than the rifles, and a lot of people are not aware of that, and they try to build their own. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. These are great. They're really quiet suppressed too, even though it's straight blowback. Regardless of your feelings on Kalashnikov USA, which you know, in January 2023 seems like they're kind of maybe trying to get some new management, get their QC a little bit better. I like this firearm. It's kind of undeniably good, and I think that company, if they fix some stuff, it has a lot of potential. That's the old KP9. So I hope you enjoyed this short look at my AK collection. Like I said, it's not the biggest collection ever, but I do shoot all of these guns, and they all shoot really well, except for the Chinese gun, which is horribly overgassed. But other than that, they all shoot really well. Oh, and except the PSL, which, well, it's a PSL. Sorry. Other than those guns, I love my AKs, and I shoot my AKs all the time. In my mind, maybe less practical than your everyday AR setup, but they're infinitely more cool. And really, looking cool is the most important thing. You're not going to look cool if you don't have training. Sorry. Plagiarism isn't a joke, guys. Don't do that. But yeah, seriously. You show up to the range shooting 5.45, and somebody who's not a moron is there, they're going to be like, that guy's cool. You're pretty good.